We're talking about horror today. Up next on Geek Out SA. Welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun. And I'm here with Hangman Charlie, another YouTuber from our YouTube group that we met. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, and we have Colleen here too.
I'm doing my scary ring stare. I was trying to do my scary horror ring stare and you ruined it.
Do it again. Now we've got you on camera.
Like that. Just like that.
I'm just gonna freeze it and just leave it like that for the whole show.
You should have been dressed up as La Llorona.
I should have put on my La Llorona outfit. Yeah, I should have, but no. I'm good. I have zombie Shakespeare. It's gonna eat your brains.
So Charlie.
That's Charlie. I'm Colleen.
We're so we've been going to the YouTube group for a while, and I've been watching your stuff. And your main thing is you like to talk about horror.
Yes.
And specifically a lot of horror movies. And right now, you're doing the 31 Days of Halloween. So,
yes.
So you started October 1st, and then and what are you doing for 31 Days of Halloween?
Right now, I've been, like, this past week I've done slashers. So that's, like, been, unfortunately, though, I did too many Friday the 13th kind of movies. First one I did was Strangers Pray at Night because I just recently watched that. I consider that a slasher because the first one you would consider a home invasion psychological thriller, and this one I consider more 80s slasher, kind of paying homage to it.
Right.
So like I'm wrapping up. The next one I'm doing after this will be the top 10 Halloween movies of all time, which will be tomorrow, and then Never Hike Alone, which again is a Friday the 13th, but it's more of a fan film.
Yeah.
And that's on YouTube for anybody. I will be watching that hopefully tonight, and I'll be reviewing that. I also did a review of Spirit of Haddonfield, which was a more recent fan movie about the Halloween movie. So I was doing that as well. So next week I'm moving into vampires. I believe the week after zombies.
Well, aren't they doing a new Halloween movie with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes.
Right.
That will be next Friday. And that will be my review for...
I've never watched one of those all the way through. They creep me the heck out, like big time.
It's the mask, right?
It creeps me out. It's the cinematography, it's the music, it's the mask.
But the very first one, he didn't have a mask, right?
No, that was... well, I know he had a mask. This was in Halloween. In the first one I saw was 4. And part of the movie he was wrapped up because of the events of Halloween 2. Yeah. And then he found his mask. I know some people hate on that mask because that was the first Halloween movie I saw was 4. I actually like that mask. It's not the John Carpenter mask. It's not the Halloween 2 mask, but I did enjoy that one. I know one that did was Friday the 13th, but then again, he didn't have his iconic mask till I believe part 3. Part 3 was when he had the hockey mask, and then and the second one I think he had the bag over his head. Sack, yeah. And then the first one
was his mom.
Yeah, that's like one thing everybody gets all wrong. Like somebody say Jason was in Friday the 13th, like, no. And I'm like, they even made reference to that in Scream. It was like, name the killer in Friday the 13th. Jason, like, it was her mother. It was his mother who
Scream is just so campy. Like, you can't not love it. I can't. Like, I love that movie. It's so much camp. I think sometimes I like that camp almost
And
as
it was
much.
funny because I didn't watch any of the Scream movies until Scream 4 came out. I want to say I was 15, 16, and like Scream 4 was coming out, and they had a marathon of all the Scream movies on TNT. So I was like,
wow,
might as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because they weren't really gory movie, like not as much like the Fridays or the Nightmares and all that. So
I think that's one of the reasons why I like it is there's enough humor and levity in it as you're going along, and there's some of that scary like jump out at you kind of stuff. So you get a good balance where you're like, ugh, and then you're like, okay, wait, okay.
And that's what I like about the '80s movies is that tension that you have. Like you
Dude,
didn't.
Pet Sematary was one of those movies that creeped me the heck out. The cat, you just never knew, and you just knew when that cat jumped out, he was gonna like claw your face off, right? It was so creepy.
And what'd you think of that new trailer with the? Because I thought that was the scariest image was that just one scene with the cat sitting there.
That's what I was thinking.
That was kind of creepy, but I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I agree with you, Charlie. Like, I felt like they got that essence of the cat, and for me, the cat was one of the creepiest parts of that movie, right? So I think they might do a good job.
And to me, the music was also in the trailer. I think that also brought tension in there. Was that drum beat in that trailer?
And then there's just something creepy about a little baby that's like, I want to play, but I've got a scalpel, and you're like, oh, okay, no, bad baby.
Because I think that's coming out in April, and then I believe It Chapter 2 is coming out sometime next year as well, which I was one of the biggest fans of It, the remake. I love Tim Curry, but this one to me was better. I'm just hoping.
I
really liked it a lot.
I really did like it.
I thought it was great. I mean, the thing about the Tim Curry one was it was made for television, so
Yes.
you've got a whole different vibe when you're doing it on television and back in that time period, right?
Yes.
Than when you're doing it cinematically in the theater, and you have a better budget, probably.
Yes. And I was shocked when I saw this. I watched this with my ex-wife when we were together. We were watching it. And I was in the theater, and when the opening scene, when he was reaching his hand out, I'm like, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Because I remember in the first one, he grabbed the arm, showed his teeth, and it went to the grave. And when he bit the arm and ripped the arm off the kid's socket, I was like, oh my God, they went for it.
Yeah. Like, they went all the way.
I thought to myself, not too many mainstream horror movies do that. You more have to go into the foreign horror movies to do that. Like, for the longest time, I was never really, like, most horror, like, the last, like, American horror movie that scared me for a while was The Grudge. And then afterwards, I had to find foreign horror to actually get me, scared. You kind of consider some of these movies torture porn, but like Martyrs and A Siberian Film, those movies screwed me up. But then
some of it just goes too far.
Yes.
I struggled with Hostel. Hostel was really hard for me to watch.
Yeah,
it was
Hostel,
It wasn't scary to me. It was just really gory.
It was gore, and it makes you feel kind of.
And we have Carl watching us. We have Galaxy watching us. She says, "Hi, Mrs. Guzman."
Carl.
And we have BV3D. We on Pet Sematary? Well, we just finished Pet Sematary.
We just finished Pet Sematary, but
he says also,
us.
"Hi, folks." Hi.
Hi.
And McKenna is on and says, "Hello, folks. Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, McKenna's getting some ideas because she's going to be on soon.
Yeah.
Talking about some similar stuff because she's really into the horror too. So yeah, classic horror But yeah, I think it's hard, right? You want to be scared and you want to have a certain level of gore, right? You don't want to have too much, but you want to have just enough that kind of wrenches your gut a little bit.
Yes, and that's why I also liked about the original John Carpenter. They didn't rely on the gore. It was more the tension.
Right.
That's what you could say, what some people would argue with Rob Zombie's was that it was too heavily. But I will always say, I think Tyler Mane, who played Michael in that version, besides Nick Castle, was the perfect guy to play Michael because he had the right size, the right stature. He was also a former wrestler, and he was actually I thought him going through stuff, when he went through a door, I remember watching the trailer with him just going through the door, and I was like, this is him. But unfortunately, he didn't have the setup right. Like I've always stated that Nick Castle had the best setup in a Halloween movie. He had, I call it the Undertaker sit-up, where he did it perfectly, no one else could do it. I don't know if it's the stunt guy or if it is him who sits up in the trailer for the new Halloween, because Nick Castle also came back to play Michael.
There's something kind of creepy about the slow nature of his movements, right?
Yes.
Like he doesn't care. You run, little rabbit, because here I come. You just do whatever you need to do. So it's that slow, methodical movements that the actor does that's kind of creepy, that makes those movies hard for me to watch too, because he knows you've got nowhere to go. So I don't know, it gives me the chills.
And it's also funny because it's like you always compare like different slasher characters to who was the best one. Like to me, Nick Castle, I'm trying to think who, because I thought part 4 was actually pretty good, except the ending when he got shot. But
McKenna says, I agree, he was perfect physically.
yes. But like for Friday 13th, I still say the best Jason, and I know a lot of people agree with me, is Kane Hodder. That's why I was so pissed, because I love Freddy versus Jason, but the guy who they got to play Jason walked more like a zombie, and I thought, and Hodder, well, Jason really was a zombie if you think about it, but Hodder had that intensity to him, where he had the physicality and just the intensity of Jason in there. And I think his last movie actually was Jason X, the one he did, because he did not do another Friday 13th movie after that.
Was that the one in space?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was right before Freddy vs. Jason. Like, Jason X was kind of like you would call it I don't know if it's like a in-between, because Jason Goes to Hell, they had that little tease at the end where Freddy comes out from the ground, grabs the mask and pulls it down. And then they were having rights battles and all that. So that whole thing between, I know it was in the 90s, I can't remember when, but between then and 2003 when Freddy vs. Jason came out, they had to put some in the middle. So they did Jason X. And then, because the last thing Freddy movie was New Nightmare before that one. And then after that, we didn't get either new entries until, what was it, Friday 13th movie, which I'm another defender of that one. It's not a perfect movie, but I thought also the Derek Mears who played Jason in that one was actually pretty good. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, however, I can't recall his name right now.
Jackie Earle Haley.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Jackie Earle Haley.
I love him too.
I liked when I found out he was cast. I said, okay, that's a good start. But the movie as a whole, I did not like.
He's from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was, because also I was a huge fan.
I think the movie's okay, but I think with a character like Freddy, you get attached to the actor who plays that, right?
And plus the difference, I guess you could say, between Michael and Jason.
No, but I kind of like Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy. You like that movie. I remember when you saw it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
I just said, he's not Robert Englund, so.
And the other thing is, I think the difference between like a Robert Englund and like with Freddy, with other characters like a Jason or Michael, they wear masks. They're interchangeable. Robert Englund, he has a prosthetics on, but it's still him.
Trying to see his face, yeah.
So it's harder to, I guess, replace him than it would be, because you have to be a hardcore horror fan to know who Kane Hodder is, who did Jason, or Nick Castle. You know who Jamie Lee Curtis is, but like...
Right, I wouldn't know. Like, I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like following
Gunnar
your
Hansen
cues,
for
but I don't know, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I even like the guy who played him. I think he was the best one in the remakes. The Michael Bay ones. But that one in the beginning.
I just feel like some of these horror movies, though, they beat them to death. Like, at some point... I don't know, let the characters go, move on to another character. They're just like beating them to death. I think the one in space, and I don't know, it was just a bit much.
I think the worst one they did that too, they beat to death, was Leprechaun. They did like Leprechaun, they did a few sequels, and then In the Hood, Back to the Hood, In Space. So I'm like, those
Leprechaun
are like...
in the Hood.
Hey, what's up, Aaron S? How's it going?
Hey.
They beat that. Now, those were guilty pleasures. They were horrible, but they were guilty pleasures. But
Well, that's what Vince likes, though. He likes the cheesier B-movie horror.
Camp, demonic toys,
and
all the full moon.
Full moon.
Yes.
Yes.
also,
that trash.
also the Chucky movies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was I'm one of the people.
Play.
Yeah, I'm one of the people who actually likes the the newer one, the Cult of Chucky that came out.
I haven't seen
that one's on Netflix. It's a sequel to Curse of Chucky. You seen that one?
That's the one with his kid?
No, not Sea of Chucky.
That was Chucky.
Yeah, they released these two. They
released like a little emo doll
with a British accent.
I never got that. I'm like, it's a freaking doll. Just like kick it in the head or something. Like, get it.
Well, I can't say that because in Cult there's actually a scene where I actually thought was answered my question of that. But I think both movies are on Netflix. I don't think Curse is anymore because it was on Netflix for a while and then just kind of they took it off this month. But I don't know why. Like there's not like a lot of horror movies. They added Blade and Blade 2. I'm like, why didn't they have Blade Trinity? I'm like, I actually don't mind Blade Trinity as much as other people like hate it.
No, I really. that's the one you love the most.
Well, but there's a reason why.
Yeah, there's a reason why, though.
And then
It might be Ryan Reynolds.
McKenna says Leprechaun didn't need sequels.
Leprechaun
I was like,
didn't need sequels.
how can you do without Leprechaun in the Hood?
No, sir.
Yeah.
That's not okay. That was not okay.
Like they did all those sequels, and then they did I think a WWE version with Hornswoggle playing Leprechaun, but you couldn't tell it was him because he had so much prosthetics on, and they really did not show him, and and I understand why, because at the end of that movie he looked horrible. He looked like from the Leprechaun that we knew to the new Leprechaun, he looked like something spawned out of something. It wasn't like he was more like that, not more, not like, didn't have his wisecracks, which I said, that's kind of the whole thing with Leprechaun. You gotta, like, you could try to make it serious, which is what they try to do, but I'm
no. If you're gonna go camp, go all the way.
Yeah.
But I think cinematography, for me, is one of the big things. Like, Evil Dead is super camp, and it should not scare you. It scares the crud out of me. Like, the scenes where they're coming in, and it's like coming in from the woods, and the way the cinematography is, there's something very creepy about Evil Dead.
It's funny how they did that. They like stuck a camera onto the front of a 2x4, and that's how they did those.
Like all those scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that movie creeps me out.
And again, that's like actually another one. Like, I don't prefer remakes more than the originals, but the remake of Evil Dead.
It was pretty decent, but it went a little far, because some of it was like nuances that you knew some really bad stuff was happening, and in the the remake, they went like, let's just show the full on, like the tree was a little much.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I felt like there was a couple of parts that were a little much that we could have done without.
And I guess the other thing I was excited for was watching the Red Band trailer before I even saw it. It looked like they were going more practical with the gore. And that's one thing I cry for so much, is that they use too much. I think that's what's killing most horror movies, especially slashers. They use too much CGI with kills. I think practical, even to this day, there's these like really campy movies that Kane Hodder does called the Hatchet movies. They're very gory, over the top. Like, these are like gorier than any Friday 13th movie. But they're practical, and I like that they're practical. Right. Like, even if it looks a little cheesy, these movies are not made to look serious. So it's like, so that's why I'm hoping, like for the new Halloween and all that, they don't have too much, I guess, practical, or they have too much CGI in it. Right. At least with that, because like one of my biggest things is I'm excited for The Mask. Because The Mask looks phenomenal with the new Halloween. Because like H2O, they had like 3 different masks, and one was CGI, and this was back in, I think, 98, 97. It's like it was with Jamie Lee Curtis, and that one looked horrible.
Yeah. That was one of the ones that scared the crud out of me, though.
But Jamie Lee's going to be in this one too, right?
Yes,
yeah, she's going to be
because
in this
they're retconning everything after the first one. So Michael's not her brother. It's like after the first one ended, they are jumping 40 years into this one. So 2 to Resurrection never happened. Although this is, I think, the second or third time they've retconned it, because they retconned it with H2O was technically retconning 4, 5, and 6. So H2O took place after Halloween 2, and then I think Halloween Resurrection took place after H2O. So this is like the second or third time they've retconned the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Because in as some fans call it, a Thorn trilogy, which is 4, 5, and 6, Laurie Strode died in a car crash, then she had a daughter beforehand, which was Jamie, which was played by Daniel Harris, who also was in the Rob Zombie movies, which I like, because that was the first one I saw, so I always say I have a soft spot for that one more than others, because I watched kind of like the original Fright Night.
And that's one of your favorite movies.
Yeah, favorite vampire.
The original Fright Night.
Yes,
which I did like the remake of it, but the original Fright Night.
I really liked the remake.
Yeah.
The original is great, but the remake was pretty darn good.
I liked when I found out Colin Farrell was going to be Jerry Dandridge. I was actually excited, and then Anton Yelchin is no longer with us, but he was playing Charlie, ironically. I thought, okay, he fits the bill for Charlie. I'm like, okay, I'm fine with the casting. And then when Peter Vincent was cast, I was like, I don't know, because I'm used to I didn't want the young kind of drunk, but then I thought, okay, they're in Vegas, it's a little bit different, they're doing a little bit of take on it.
Right.
I can't remember his name because I'm not a Doctor Who fan. The one who played Peter Vincent in the remake.
Oh,
Somebody in the comments help us if you can. He played Kilgrave in
yes,
Jessica Jones.
The one that Tennyson, right?
David Tennant.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
David Tennant.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like he was actually really good in that, and I was actually proven wrong with him because I'm not a Doctor Who, but my friend is a huge Doctor Who fan. So when I told him, he's like, "Oh, he was in Doctor Who." When I told him it later, I'm like, "Doctor Who?" I'm like, I've heard of it, but I was never like into it.
Yeah.
So like, and then I saw him in Kilgrave as Kilgrave.
He was good in that. He was good in that one. Is it too low?
Keeps moving.
Stuart's like messing with Vince's camera over there, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, isn't the kid from... This is what always gets me. It's the kid from Superbad is in there, right?
Yes,
The
McLovin. Yeah, he was.
And he's like the little minion character.
He was supposed to be. He was evil in the character who was in the original, but again, he didn't have that like acting chops that
Charlie Brewster.
Yeah, you're
that's
so cute,
cool.
Brewster. Like that line was missing and all.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the one line that I was like waiting to hear in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I didn't hear it.
I even liked at the end, I guess in the remake where he takes Amy and he takes her and then he tells, instead of in the original he says she reminds me of someone from a long time ago or something. I like he says she makes me feel young again. So he's hinting at what he said in the remake, but not going full on repeating what he said. I said the one problem with the remake, the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack to the original, the score and everything. Just that 80s sound and all that.
Right.
And then that was the one thing I felt the remake was missing.
And I like that they brought the original.
Yes, and it took me 2 watches to realize it because I didn't even know he was still alive.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him, what was he in?
The original vampire.
Yeah,
in there,
but
yeah.
what he was in? I know he was also in Child's Play. He played the detective who shot Charles Lee Ray in the opening scene, and then he was in
the
Princess Bride. Yes, I was trying to remember the name of it.
What was that super cheesy vampire movie with Jim Carrey in it? When he was like really young. What is the name of that movie?
Jim
It's gonna
Carrey.
drive me nuts. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Y'all
The
talk
Mask?
amongst yourselves. No, it's a vampire movie.
That was actually my first Jim Carrey one I saw.
Once Bitten or
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So
Never saw that. I know. Like
It was Once Bitten.
I have to look that
Is
up
that
now.
what
I
it
never knew he was in one of those. I've seen like Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage and.
That's awful.
That one's awful.
Yeah. He is, though, in this one
Once
movie
Bitten.
called Mandy that came out not too long ago that I've heard really good things about. It's on VOD right now, so I'm waiting until I get some money going so I can get it and then watch it because I've heard, like, everybody's just talking about Nicolas. It reminds, like, from what I've seen about it, it reminds me of this movie called The Void that came out a few years ago, which is a really out there movie. And it's on. I think it's still on Netflix. But I always look at Netflix saying, okay, if I'm doing videos, I'm like, watch this.
Right,
Like I did a review of this movie called Terrifier, which it's been a very polarizing movie. It's about this clown. It was actually you would call it a spin-off from a short in Tales from Halloween, which is an anthology movie. And the movie it's been very divisive. Like ever since it got some more exposure with Netflix, like my friend, one of my friends, he has a YouTube channel. He reviewed it when it first came out, and he hated it because he thought it was torture porn. He rewatched it on Netflix, and he's kind of had because there's certain scenes in there that would be considered a little too much. But
Yeah, I don't want to watch any of those.
yeah, there was this one scene. Anybody seen Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell?
No,
Nope.
I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, because I was going to describe a scene in that movie that reminds me of.
Not too many scenes because my students are watching.
Bone.
Sleepaway Camp.
If you're a grown-up.
Oh, Sleepaway
then
Camp,
you
yes.
can watch it. And if If you're not, don't watch it.
Yes.
It's really bad.
Although I made a mistake, I will say, I'm probably bad father of the year, but me and my daughter did watch, mind you, she was 2. We watched Halloween 4 for the first time. I told her, I said, you're only 2 years younger than me when I watched it. I watched when I was 4 years old. I said, you're going to watch it. She's sitting there watching it. I didn't think she was. I thought she was going to get bored of it and walk away. But she's there at the edge of the couch, just like her hands like that. And then at the end of the movie, she turns over to me, like very quietly, and looks at me. She's like, she's dead. She dead. And I'm like, oh my God, you did watch the movie. And luckily now she's fine though. But she was like, she really got. I was like, I can't believe this. I'm like,
I was not allowed to watch. So my parents were very controlling over everything I watched and stuff. So I was not allowed to watch any of that stuff. But I thought I was gonna really love it, right? So I went to a sleepover when I was 9, and this was when the first Poltergeist movie came out. And so those parents were much more liberal with their rules, and so we watched Poltergeist.
Wasn't that movie PG though?
I don't know. I just remember that I had to call my mom, and she had to come pick me up because I was really scared.
I was like,
Gremlins. Gremlins used to really creep you out.
Gremlins scared me too, because I was like super sheltered and I didn't get to see any of that stuff. So then when I would get to see it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared.
And then we show the kids.
Yeah, so then I show my kids Gremlins, and it's really horrible, but I don't remember it being really horrible. I remember it from a kid's perspective, right? So I get all excited and I show my kids, and they laughed through the whole thing. I was like,
that was actually how I felt with it when I first saw the Tim Curry version, because I was so, when I was younger I used to watch Batman the Animated Series with Mark Hamill's Joker, so I had no fear of clowns. Like I watch anything clowns, and I always I think Mark Hamill did it for me with that, because I was just like,
you're like, I'm fine.
Yeah. I like, my only fears in life are needles and freaking umbrellas, because I was at SeaWorld one time and an umbrella fell on my head.
Oh, really?
A table umbrella. And I got cut wide open. So like for a longest time I passed SeaWorld and I get like shivers. But now like I passed it today and I was like, oh no, it wasn't as bad. I don't feel that way anymore, but like needles are still bad for me. But
so a clown with needles, that's what we're
like this one girl I've been talking to, she's terrified of clowns. She works at Ripley's. She would not hug me because I had a Pennywise mask on, or Pennywise shirt on. I'm like, why? It's just a shirt. It's not going to pop out and get you. Like, I can see if I'm out here wearing the whole Pennywise getup and all that. She told me, if you do, I'm going to punch you.
People are super afraid of clowns. It's crazy. I don't get it. Like.
And then my other friend's girlfriend, she's terrified of Chucky, which I thought.
Which I think is funny, too, because that's a doll. It doesn't scare me. Like, I don't
get it. Because they saw Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That'll do it.
Yeah, I was, like, my friend,
shoot you with a popcorn gun.
My friend's daughter or his son, he hates Santa Claus. He's scared of Santa Claus, but he loves Chucky. I'm like, I thought, did you show him Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Santa Slays with Bill Goldberg or something? Like, although that was more cheesy than anything, but.
What is it, Krampus or Krampus?
Krampus, yeah.
Yeah. That one was okay. It was, super camp.
Yeah.
But then, and some of this new stuff doesn't do it for me either. Like, my sons were like, oh, Mom, you've got to watch It Follows. Like, it's so good.
Oh, that one's really good.
And I watched that movie and I was like, meh.
It's funny. My mom she cannot watch, I would call it art house movies, because she doesn't like, I showed her The Witch. It came out a few years ago. She hated it. I showed her It Comes at Night. She hated it. I wanted to show The Babadook, but after those two movies, I'm not going to waste my time thinking she's going to love it, and she's going to be like, because I guess her thing was, she was thinking it was going to be completely different than what it was. Then there's this movie that, to me, is my favorite movie of this year so far, beat out Avengers, Infinity War, was Hereditary. I sing the praises to anybody who will listen about that movie. I'm like, go see Hereditary. It's out on Blu-ray now, but like when it was in theaters, but go see it. My friend went to go see it. He told me I was right. And that was like the scariest movie I've seen in a while, because I think maybe I'd have.
Hereditary?
Yes, it stars Toni Collette.
Put it on my list here.
And it's a slow burn movie. I think that's what I think my mom doesn't like. She doesn't like slow burn movies. She likes more the supernatural. She lived in the slasher era, but she did not enjoy it like I do. But I've also gone more art house horror besides the slasher movies. But like when I hear a new Halloween's out, I don't care. I will go see it.
Like The Mist was pretty
yes,
scary,
and even the ending wasn't even the original ending of the book. From what I've read, and Stephen King has even said that that's the ending. He says even though that wasn't in the book, that's the ending. He thought that was
really good.
Yes,
Supremely good.
to me, my favorite King novel is Carrie. I've even wrote short stories, and I base them around female characters. I don't know why I'm better with writing female characters.
Sorry, McKenna says there's a Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Amusement park attraction now on the East Coast.
Oh, really? How funny. This is gonna have to go there.
Yeah, and then there's a Universal Horror Nights or something they have at I think Universal Studios. It's one thing I'm jealous about not being like in California or Florida. That'd be something I would want to go to because I think this one was like Halloween 4. They had there was like there were different themes and one was Halloween 4 and I'm like, ugh.
So do you like horror novels too? Do you read?
Yes, I didn't start really reading until diehard reading until Edgar Allan Poe. That was kind of what got me into reading and writing.
You like Telltale Heart?
Yes,
Raven.
Raven's one of them that I've read. I have the book and it's funny.
There's something about the way he describes that heart, right? And you just know that person is losing their mind. And it's nice.
Because I even like the one, they did a movie, The Raven, with John Cusack that came out many years ago. I actually like that one. And 1408 is another one I really enjoy.
1408 was really good.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good one.
The only one I haven't seen of his, of those types of movies, is Identity, which came out I think in 2002. So this was way, way before I could. I used to sneak movies in, when my mom told me you can't see these certain movies, like Blade 2 or Queen of the Damned, I snuck them in. I was
really?
like, yeah, because that was actually, I saw Queen of the Damned before I saw Interview with the Vampire. Because, again, it was kind of not like in Fright Night. I always tell people when, I'm not doing a review this week for it, because I want to do Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned. I'm trying to have it partially mainstream and some lesser known.
You're going to do a week of vampire movies?
Yes,
yeah.
And I'm doing a few mainstream and more lesser known movies.
Okay.
Destiny asks, off subject, but have you seen Venom? What are your thoughts? We actually have seen Venom.
We have seen Venom, and our thought is
have
we don't want to spoil it.
Yes,
have you seen Venom?
We don't want to spoil it, so we're not going to say much. We'll be vague. But I thought it was worth watching.
I thought it was worth watching.
Yeah, I was hesitant in seeing it because of just all the bad reviews, and it was funny because I thought, okay, am I going to review? I'm like, no, it's too late. I'm like, then again, I did it for none. But I actually did enjoy it because some of my friends would tell me, go see it. You'll actually enjoy it.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, fine. And I actually really enjoyed the movie for what it was. It's.
It was they went a little too cutesy, sweetsy with the symbiotic character,
yes.
And I don't want to give away too much of it, but it's
basically Lethal Weapon.
Kind of.
It is.
They
it's lethal Weapon.
Yeah, they were a little too cutesy with that relationship between the two of them. I was like, but it wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good. It was okay. Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I think it was better than okay.
You liked it more than I did. I had a problem with the little cutesy bits.
I thought it was.
And it was a little bit off from the comics.
It was a lot off.
It was a lot off from the comics.
Yes.
For the main thing
Spider-Man's
of
not
how
even
he comes
in
to
it.
be.
Yeah.
So there's none of this hatred towards Spider-Man that we're supposed to be seeing. So that'll be interesting to see how they move forward in the Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, which is apparently the plan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm skeptical on that. I did like the how it should have ended. This is like this YouTube thing where it was reacting to how the Venom trailer should have ended. Where he's talking about in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anywhere. He's like, oh, I'm just staying like a toad in the wind, and he's mixing different things and all that. And then for some reason at the end of this, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man comes out and says, "Hey everybody, I hear you need a new Spider-Man. I'm available." It's like, "Not now, Spider-Man. We will burn that bridge when we cross it." He's like, or when we come to it, he's like, "Don't you mean cross that bridge?" Because he kept making like these like different remarks, like putting two sayings together, and I thought that was kind of funny. But I like that him popping up. Like I'm like, oh, that's the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Because if you've seen, like, they have these like continuation things on it where they talk about different things. They even have Batman and Superman at coffee, and every now and again they'll have different characters with them. Yeah. It's like, because I'm Batman.
But Eric says, I've seen Venom from a snake. It looks like water.
Thanks
You
for
should probably
sharing,
not drink it,
Eric. We're not doing that on the next food challenge, I'm just saying.
No.
Stuart.
I've drank Venom. It's a good energy drink.
It's an energy drink.
Yeah.
So we talked about zombie movies, and we kind of talked about the slasher. You're gonna do
vampires. This week.
I mean, we talked about vampires.
Oh,
You're gonna
talking
do
about
zombies,
vampires,
right?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
What
Charlie has
happens
an answer.
if a vampire bites a zombie?
They don't do that. What would be the point of that?
That's actually
Zombies
a good
are
question.
dead.
Does a zombie become a vampire?
No. That
Or does
doesn't
a vampire
happen.
become
That's
a
not
zombie?
a thing. You can't mix that together. That's not a thing.
Because you can
What
do it with
happens?
lichens, because they've had like an underworld, they've had the hybrid, but
The zombie
zombies are
is
different.
Dead. The vampire bites the humans to feed on them and to drink the blood. The blood is all nasty and coagulated and clotted and gross in the zombie. It's like gelatin blood. You took
What if it's just
anatomy
really-
and physiology.
What if he was just really hungry?
No. You can't do that.
Well, both of them are dead, but zombies are more dead if you think, because at least vampires still have their
But
their senses are enhanced and
No.
their brain and all that. They can.
Yeah.
The zombies, they can't. They're dead. They're brain dead. They're like brains.
Yeah, no. I say no. My vote is no.
Unless
That
it's
doesn't
warm
happen.
bodies, if you will, then that one
No.
actually thought about that might be a good one to review for zombies. That one doesn't get talked about too much.
What
Warm
if they
bodies.
Warm
just
bodies, it's
Yeah.
cute. That's a cute one.
turn into a zombie? Like from Walking Dead.
Zombies are friends, not food.
I know
So
this is
what
gonna
would
get.
happen?
I know.
Nothing happens.
I know this is gonna take some points off my horror IQ. I never gotten into Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just like by the time I got into it, I don't know, it was and I didn't like it. Like John Berthold, I didn't like until I saw him in Punisher. Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, he's really good as
That
the
one I
Punisher.
can't. Daredevil season 3 I can't wait for. That comes out
Yeah.
the same day as
The
Halloween.
Punisher apologized to me.
Daredevil's spectacular. Yes, he did.
I'll always take that everywhere. He like bumped into my chair and I was like, "Oh, sorry, bro." Cool.
Okay, cool, dude.
John.
So what
Appreciate
if
that.
a vampire ate John Barenthal? Then
He turned into a vampire.
Vampire Punisher.
what if
Vampire
he drained him all the
Punisher.
way though? Just killed him.
I think they've done a comic of it.
Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think they
I'm
did do a
sure.
comic.
I'm sure they have. what
McKenna
all
says,
that.
legend states that a vampire cannot consume a dead man's blood.
Thank you, McKenna.
Well, that's
Okay,
actually.
so then what happens if a zombie bites a vampire?
Because that is what happened in.
what would be the point of that?
In the interview, Tom Cruise bit a little boy with thinking he was alive and he was dead, and he started getting weak. So that is a true statement about the zombie aspect that would weaken him. That'd be
So
like
if a zombie bites a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me think about this.
yeah, I was gonna say that's a little more
Because the
difficult.
vampire still has its brain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because aren't they zombies usually looking for serotonin?
Yeah.
So it's
And their brains are working.
brains are working.
Yeah.
Providing they stay away from the liver, it should be good.
Yeah.
So then does the vampire become a zombie?
A zompire.
A zompire.
A
there you go,
zompire.
A zompire.
I think I've said that before. I can't
I'm gonna
remember
have to
where.
think about that. That one might actually work. And then what? You just have this vampire with its fangs out.
One of the fangs falls out, and you'd be like Kukui
So then what do
swallowing
you
his...
have to do? Do you have to stake it and
Shoot it in the
shoot
head.
it in the head?
Yeah. Stake it in the head.
'Cause, like,
And the heart.
and then what? If you get it in the head, it turns back to a vampire? Because they can regenerate. So, but it's a virus. Well, it depends on what law you're thinking of. What turns them into a zombie.
Yeah.
So if it's a virus, because they can regenerate. So then if their flesh is like not going to fall off. So they would be whole. This is really like blowing my mind. This is blowing my mind. It's like making my brain like explode.
We need to give her sugar.
I'm really
If you
confused
saw
by
the
this.
last episode 2 weeks ago.
We don't give me sugar anymore. That's not something we do. Don't
We
talk
give her
about
sugar.
It,
Give her sugar.
I don't want any sugar.
Sugar.
I did look up zompires.
You did? You did? Is a thing?
Well, according to the Urban Dictionary, Zompire dracularis, a very rare monster that involves a crossbreed between vampires and zombies. And they're very dangerous, and if you see one, you should run.
I feel like,
The prime example of one is Dracula's illegitimate son via Cleopatra. And he is a prime example. His name is Tom Cruise, and he is the world's most famous zompire. So there you go.
So there you go.
Nice.
Okay. So
Well,
now we've answered your
yes.
question.
Good. Finally, I get it answered.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google.
So, Charlie, thanks for coming out
Thank
and
you,
hanging
man.
out with us. It was a lot of fun. Love talking about horror. You can geek out about anything. We geeked out about horror today, so it was really cool. But, guys, thanks for checking us out. If you haven't subscribed to us, subscribe to us. And
check out Charlie's channel.
And check out Charlie's channel. And and I put his channel down in the
Description below.
description, so check it out. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Charlie, and Stuart's over there.
Geek Out, SA.